morning students. How are you all? I hope you all are safe and fine at your home. So this video is for the students of class 9th, subject Science, chapter number 4, that is structure of an atom. This is your lecture number 2. So students, topics to be discussed in today's lecture are Rutherford's model and Bohr's model. So let's start with today's lecture. Students, yesterday we discussed about Thomson's model. That was the first model given to explain the structure of atom. But due to some drawbacks, the Thomson's model was rejected ultimately. So after that, Rutherford came, another scientist. He gave his model, Rutherford's model. So what Rutherford did? He carried out an experiment which is called as alpha scattering experiment. Okay, the experiment which was carried out by Rutherford was alpha. This is alpha scattering experiment. Now, in this experiment, what happened? The fast moving alpha particles, they were made to fall on a thin gold foil. Okay, the alpha particles, they were allowed to pass through a thin gold foil. Now the question arises, what do you mean by alpha particles? And why Rutherford selected only the gold foil? Why not silver foil? Why not aluminium foil? Why only this gold foil? So let's answer these two questions first. Alpha particles. What are alpha particles? These are basically doubly charged helium nuclei. Okay, the doubly charged helium nuclei. That was alpha particle. Okay, helium, what is the atomic mass? 4U. Okay, and the charge was 2 positive, doubly charged means 2 positive. So that is alpha particle, helium nuclei which has a mass 4U and charge is 2 positive. So this is alpha particle. Now why Rutherford selected gold foil for carrying out his alpha scattering experiment? Because gold, the density of gold is very, very high. Okay, the density of gold is very, very high. What is density? Formula, density is mass upon volume. So what we can say, the mass of the gold atom was very large, very high. Okay, if silver foil, aluminium foil was selected for carrying out as alpha scattering experiment, in that case, the density, the mass, it is not high. Okay, it is the only gold atom whose density is maximum. So that's why the gold foil was selected by Rutherford for carrying out his alpha scattering experiment. Clear, students? Now you are clear with what are alpha particles and why he selected only gold foil. Now let us study what was the experiment he carried out. Rutherford took gold foil. Okay, inside the gold foil there are various atoms. So these are basically gold atoms. Okay, so the gold foil was taken by Rutherford. Now, through this foil, the fast moving alpha particles, they were allowed to pass, to fall on this gold foil. So what happened when the alpha particles, they were passed? He observed that most of the alpha particles, they passed straight through the gold foil. Okay, these are the alpha particles. So most of the alpha particles, they passed straight through this gold foil. Clear, students? So this was number 1 observation of alpha scattering experiment. Most of the alpha particles passed straight through the gold foil. Number 2. What was number 2 observation? Rutherford observed that some of the alpha particles, consider this, some of the alpha particles, they were deflected back by small angles. Okay? You consider this one. Some of the alpha particles, they were deflected back by small angles. Clear, students? In the first case, most of the alpha particles passed straight. And in the second case, some of the alpha particles, they were deflected back by small angles. This was number 2 observation. And number 3 observation was, surprisingly, one out of 12,000 particles, they were rebounded back. Okay, so this is the alpha particle going on. Now it rebounded back through the same path. Okay, means which angle it is making? It is going like this, it is coming back in the same path. So the angle is 180 degree. So surprisingly, 1 out of 12,000 particles, they rebounded back. Okay, so these were the 3 observations observed in alpha scattering experiment carried by Rutherford. Okay, most of the alpha particles passed straight through the gold foil. Some of the alpha particles, they were deflected by small angles. 1 out of every 12,000 particles appeared to rebound. Rebound means making an angle of 180 degree. So these were the observations of alpha scattering experiment. Now, what were the conclusions drawn from these observations? Conclusion means result. What were the results drawn from these observations? Number 1 conclusion is, most of the space inside the atom is empty. Why? Because most of the alpha particles passed straight through the gold foil without getting deflected. How? Let us see. It is saying most of the alpha particles pass straight. Means if something is passing straight, so there should be some space inside that. Let us consider this. If I consider this, an atom, something is passing straight. The alpha particle, it passed straight through this atom. It means there is some space inside the atom. Right? There is some space inside the atom. So that is why I have written most of the space inside the atom is empty, because most of the alpha particles pass straight through the gold foil without getting deflected. This was the number 1 conclusion drawn from this number 1 observation. Number 2 conclusion. They said that some of the alpha particles, they were deflected by small angles. If something is deflecting back by small angles, what does it mean? It means that there is something inside the atom which is occupying very little space. Okay. This got deflected back. Why? Because there is some space inside the atom which is occupying very little space. That's why the particle got deflected now. So what is the second conclusion? Very few particles, they were deflected from their path, indicating that positive charge of the atom occupies very little space. The alpha particle, it is deflecting back. It means which charge is there? Positive charge inside the atom. And that positive charge, it is occupying very little space. That is why it is getting deflected after striking through that positive charge. If negative charge was there, there will be attraction. But there is positive charge, so it will repel. That's why deflected. Number 3. They said that 1 out of every 12,000 particle appeared to rebound. What does it indicate? A very small fraction of the alpha particles, they were deflected by 180 degree, indicating that all the positive charge and the mass of gold atom, they are concentrated in a very small volume within the atom. Okay, the positive charge as well as the mass of the atom, it is concentrated to a very small volume. That is the reason it deflected by 180 degree. Because the positive charge and the mass of the atom, that is concentrated to this very small volume. Okay. So, through this experiment, what was discovered? Nucleus was discovered. Because it is rebounding back. This positive charge inside the atom at the center, it is concentrated to a very small volume. This positive charge. So, the discovery of nucleus was done through this Rutherford alpha scattering experiment. So, you are clear with these observations and conclusions? Sure? Now, I discussed about the observations, about the conclusions. Now, next is what are the features of Rutherford's nuclear model of an atom. So, what are the features? Number 1, there is a positively charged center inside the atom which is called as nucleus. Okay, nearly all the mass of an atom, it resides inside the nucleus. I told you right now, what was discovered through Rutherford's experiment? Nucleus was discovered. The nucleus is positively charged, which is placed at the center inside the atom. And inside the nucleus, the mass of the atom resides. Resides means lives. Second feature, the electrons. It was about the nucleus. Now coming to electrons. What are electrons? Electrons are negatively charged. So the electrons revolve around the nucleus. Okay, what was discovered? This is atom. Inside the atom, there is centrally located nucleus. Inside the nucleus, there is positively charged, and the mass of the atom resides inside the nucleus. And second feature is the electrons, they revolve around the nucleus in well-defined orbits. Orbits means the circular path. Okay, the electrons are revolving in these circular paths. Okay, the electron is represented as E negative because they are negatively charged. So electrons are revolving in these circular orbits, circular paths around this nucleus. So this is the second feature. Third is the size of the nucleus is very, very small as compared to the size of atom. Yes, you can see this is the nucleus and this is the atom. So size of nucleus is very small as compared to the size of atom. Clear? So these are the features of Rutherford's nuclear model of an atom. First I discussed about observations. Next I discussed about conclusions. After that I discussed about the features. Now Thomson's model had drawbacks. Similarly, Rutherford's model had also some of the drawbacks. So what were the drawbacks of Rutherford's model of an atom? Drawbacks of Rutherford's model of an atom. Any particle revolving in circular orbits, they would undergo acceleration. I told you right now, this is nucleus and the electrons are revolving in these circular orbits. Okay, so the electrons which are revolving in these circular orbits, they would undergo acceleration. Okay, any particle in circular orbit, it undergoes acceleration. What is acceleration? We studied in motion chapter. Acceleration means rate of change of velocity. Okay, what was the formula of acceleration? Final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time taken. So this is rate of change of velocity. Now during acceleration, the particle is going under acceleration. Okay, so during acceleration, the charged particle, it would radiate energy. The electron is charged particle. It carries some negative charge. So it is undergoing acceleration. It is revolving circular orbits, undergoing acceleration. And during acceleration, this electron, it would radiate energy. Radiate means release energy. Okay, and the revolving electron will lose energy and it will finally fall into the nucleus. The electron is revolving. It is losing energy. So it should fall finally into this nucleus. And if it falls inside the nucleus, it means atom is unstable. Okay, if electron is falling inside this nucleus, it means atom is not stable, but atom is stable. So Rutherford's model was rejected. Okay, atoms are stable. You see this? This is nucleus, which is positively charged. The mass of the atom resides inside the nucleus. Now these are the circular orbits in which the electrons are revolving, E negative. This particle is negative, that is E negative electron. This electron is revolving, it is undergoing acceleration. So this acceleration, under acceleration, this electron, it will lose energy. And if it is losing energy, it should fall into this nucleus. If it falls in the nucleus, the atom is unstable. But atoms are stable. So this Rutherford's model was rejected because it could not explain the stability of an atom. It is saying atom is unstable, but in reality atoms are stable. So Rutherford's model was rejected. After Rutherford, another scientist came. The scientist was Niels Bohr. Niels Bohr was the scientist who gave the model after Rutherford, and actually this model was accepted. The Bohr's model It was accepted finally. So what were the postulates of this Bohr's model? Number 1, only certain spatial orbits known as discrete orbits of electrons are allowed inside the atom. I told you right now that electron is revolving in the orbits. Okay, so there are certain spatial orbits. What are those spatial orbits called? They are called as discrete orbits in which the electron revolves. So only discrete orbits, they are allowed inside the atom. Number 2, while revolving in discrete orbits, the electrons do not radiate energy. Okay, electron is revolving in discrete orbits. So due in revolution, these electrons, they do not radiate. Radiate means release. They do not release energy. If energy is not releasing, it means it will not finally fall into the nucleus. It means atom is stable. Rutherford said that electrons will be releasing energy because it is undergoing acceleration. So it will fall into the nucleus. But according to Bohr, only discrete orbits are allowed, and in these orbits, electrons do not radiate energy. So this model was accepted. This is the third model, Bohr's model, and there are 2 postulates of Bohr's model. And these orbits, they are called as energy levels. Okay, these circular paths, these circular orbits, these circular shells, they are called as energy level. Okay, you can call anything orbit, shell, energy level, one and the same thing. Okay, so this is the nucleus. The electrons are revolving in these circular orbits. So the energy levels, they are either represented by letters K, L, M, N and so on. Okay, this is the first. This is the first orbit. It is K shell. Then this is the second orbit. It is L shell. This is the third orbit. That is M shell. This is the fourth orbit. This is N shell. So the closest shell to the nucleus, that is K. After that L, M, N. Okay, K, L, M, N. Either they are represented by these letters or they are represented by numbers. N is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, so on. So K shell is N is equal to 1. That is the first shell. L shell, that is second shell, N is equal to 2. Third is M shell, N is equal to 3. Fourth is L shell, N is equal to 4. Where this N represents the shell number. Which shell? First shell, second shell, third shell, fourth shell. Clear? K, L, M, N. N is equal to 1, N is equal to 2, N is equal to 3, N is equal to 4. Okay? So this was about Bohr's model. So what is your homework, students? You will solve question number 1 to 4, means question 1, 2, 3, 4, given on page number 49. These are in-text questions. And along with the in-text questions, we will solve exercise question number 3 and question number 4 of NCERT of chapter number 4, structure of an atom. So this is your homework, students. Now I will be discussing the homework solutions of lecture number 1. Question number 1 was, what are canal rays? Canal rays, they were discovered by E. Goldstein. These rays are the positively charged radiations which led to the discovery of a subatomic particle called as proton, represented by small p. And the canal rays, they are also called as anode rays. So this was question number 1. Coming to question number 2. If an atom contains one electron and one proton, will it carry any charge or not? There is only one electron and one proton. Electron, you know, it carries unit negative charge. So one electron means one negative or minus 1. One proton means one positive or plus 1. So will it carry any charge or not? No, it will not carry any charge because they neutralize with each other. Okay, the atom carrying one electron and one proton will be neutral and it will not carry any charge. Clear, students? This was question number 2. Question number 3 was, what are the limitations of J.J. Thomson's model of an atom? Limitations means drawbacks. So, number 1, it did not have any experimental evidence into support. Number 2, though Thomson's model explained the neutrality of an atom, it failed to explain the results of Rutherford's alpha scattering experiment. Okay, you can write down the second point as, it did not explain the results of alpha scattering experiment. So these are the true drawbacks or limitations of J.J. Thomson's model of an atom. Clear, students? I hope you are clear with today's lecture, that is Rutherford's and Bohr's model. So read the chapter